Less than a year ago, the Houston Texans, after winning the division for the fourth time in 5 years, held a 24-0 lead over the Kansas City Chiefs in the divisional round of the playoffs. And since then, what on earth has happened to the Houston Texans? Bill O'Brien was named GM shortly after that loss to Kansas City, and we all know what happened next. DeAndre Hopkins traded to Arizona, one of the top receivers at the peak of his career. They didn't get a first-round pick, but they did get running back David Johnson. Bill O'Brien coached exactly 4 games this year before he was fired. The Texans currently find themselves 4-11 this season, and half those wins are against the team who's picking first in the draft. The Texans are a complete mess. Their defense is atrocious. They haven't stopped the run all season. This entire year has just been Deshaun Watson trying to do everything he can to help this team get wins, and Watson's been incredible even without DeAndre Hopkins in the offense. But one thing is clear, the Houston Texans are in need of a rebuild, and it's time to begin one. Here on Madden 21, we're on next gen here, starting a new rebuild franchise. I have been looking forward to doing something with this team after one of the strangest off seasons, and now a year that has seen the Texans go completely in reverse when it comes to their progress towards a championship. This season's been really tough for the Houston Texans, and I am looking to jump right into where the real timeline is with this year. 1 game left to go to decide draft positioning and the final playoff picture, which looks like this at the moment. Houston nowhere near being in the hunt for a spot, of course, and most teams after a bad year are at least looking forward to their first round pick. And in case you weren't aware, the Texans don't have a first round pick, and they also don't have a second round pick. So get ready for their first pick to land somewhere in the late 60s, early 70s, depending on how this all ends up. We're going to start a rebuild here, and we don't even get the benefit of an early pick, not even in the top 60. However, what's unique, of course, especially when it comes to the rebuilds I've done on this channel, is that the quarterback's in place. And once you have a quarterback, you have a chance. Deshaun Watson is only 24 years old, and he is one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL, and I definitely think you can win a championship with him. So as we look ahead to what we want to do in this series with Houston, we don't have to think about the quarterback position very hard, outside of maybe Watson's backup, as he's never played behind a great offensive line. Laramie Tunsil is a franchise left tackle, but I think we have a little more work to do with this team. JJ Watt is the highest rated player on this team, but he's also 31. How many more years of high-level play does he have left? Here's the way the team looks at the moment, with obviously an offensive line that needs a ton of work. The Texans are currently missing both Randall Cobb and Will Fuller. Will Fuller set to be a free agent. David Johnson's been the #1 running back this season. And defensively, JJ Watt's there, Whitney Merciless, Zach Cunningham, but wow. This team needs so much work on both sides of the football, and we are jumping in right now to work on fixing it. I hope you're all excited for the series here. It's been about 4 months now since I've been doing rebuilds like this on Madden, where I play the role as the GM. I don't actually play the games. That's how I like to do rebuilds on this channel. I enjoy watching the game, simulating, and going through many years to watch the team unfold and to see all the storylines fall into place. Now, we are on next gen, playing on the PlayStation 5, and the gameplay is different than that of last gen, and there are some things that certainly need some work when it comes to the next gen gameplay. Zone coverage is definitely an issue. There need to be some patches, but The reason I didn't do a Madden 21 series when the game launched back in August or whenever it was because it was essentially Madden 20. So I worked on other stuff. So even if Madden 21 is better right now on last gen, I'd still rather be on next gen for some of the improvements, for the player movement, for the next gen experience essentially that's here right now. And I have not had any crashing issues when it comes to this game. I know some have. I actually, since getting my PS5 a few weeks ago, it hasn't crashed on me doing anything even once. So let's hope it doesn't start here in Madden 21. What I have done here is I have created a brand new franchise. I am not doing this in a cloud franchise. That way I can be offline and have my backup file and also have the ability to play if like the servers are down or whatever. So I went through and I forced win and losses on everything I could except for the one tie that happened this year. So the standings reflect mostly what the real NFL has right now. I also put the XP sliders to 0 so nobody would gain experience in the simulating while I catch up to where real life is. XP sliders, something I have to figure out here quickly, as that's one of the most important parts of franchise mode, as I have learned doing these series and all my franchises. So what we're going to do today is get into week 17, talk about this roster, and think about what to do, as episode 2 is going to be an off season. Kind of fun to get right into an off season, much like the Browns series I did that started this whole trend of series for me a couple of years ago. And I'd love some feedback down below if there's anything in next gen I need to be aware of as far as like bugs or issues goes. I have done some testing games in slow sim. I've watched, must be at least half a dozen teams I've controlled, simming like 8 games probably or so. I haven't had any crashing issues. I have seen some weird things in terms of like CPU play calling and whatnot. They're very pass heavy, but I can fix that at least for us using the game plans. And hopefully there are a couple patches that get the game a little bit better before they stop putting out updates for the entire season. So in our league here, the stats will match nothing that is in real life. So Watson has far less touchdowns, far more interceptions, as if I were controlling him for this entire season. Justin Jefferson will not have, you know, the yardage he has in real life. But what we do have is accurate records. We should have a pretty good draft order for when we get there. And obviously we don't have the real draft classes. I don't use the real ones just because I like having my own universe. So it's not like a Trevor Lawrence class. This is going to be just a typical Madden class that we have here. And with no picks in the first 2 rounds, I don't have anybody scouted that early to begin with. Or maybe I have one player here. I might scout a couple second rounders that could slide to the 3rd, but I have found some interesting players we'll talk about towards the end of the episode. I have also done no re-signing here, so if they haven't signed these players in real life, I haven't signed them here. But we're already looking at a situation where one of the best players on the team is set to be a free agent. That is Will Fuller, one of my favorite players in the league. He is a really fun deep threat. There's Garyon Conley and Vernon Hargreaves, who are both starting corners on this team. We are not going to have a simple offseason upcoming at all. We don't get to pick early on. We'll see what we can do in the draft, and we'll see how this team is in terms of their cap situation. Because while much of the roster doesn't really have solutions, you still have Deshaun Watson, who is a very high-paid quarterback and will have cap numbers that especially get higher in 2022. But there's also Laramie Tunsil, one of the top-paid offensive linemen in the league. There's Brandon Cooks. They traded for him and his long-term contract he previously had. There's Bradley Roby, and J.J. Watt is still under contract for next season. Oh, and I forgot to introduce to you head coach Geno Harris. Yes, Geno Harris from my Austin Venom Cupcake franchise rebuild on Madden 09. He is now head coach of the Houston Texans. Here we go, everybody. Next gen rebuild underway with the Houston Texans. When I think about this team, I'm happy we have Deshaun Watson, but I'm looking for other foundational players to build around, and the list is so small. You have Deshaun Watson, Laramie Tunsil, perhaps J.J. Watt. You have Will Fuller if you are able to sign him. Brandon Cooks, you pretty much have to have him for a couple years, I think, because of his contract. And I think, I'd want to keep him around and have his big play ability. But there is so much more this team needs. Hey, we got some pressure, though. So here on Next Gen, there are some gameplay differences. But keep in mind, I haven't really played Madden 21 since release very much. So I haven't really gotten to know what this year has been all about. I've played it so little. Well, there's a shot downfield, and the Texans will give those up. Yes, that's Corey Davis downfield for 39 yards. This secondary is in desperate need of a playmaker or three. So where do you even look in the draft? Most teams just think about, okay, first round we do this, second round we do this. If you're a Texans fan, you can't even get excited about mock drafts. Like, how can you even get excited for the offseason when there's not much to be excited about? We're going to try to make something happen with this team, and I imagine we'll have some opportunities in the very first offseason. And because of the way the draft classes are in Madden, there are obviously a lot of really good players who are projected to go in those middle rounds. But we've got to think about what is most important to address. The thing that stood out the most for me, honestly, when they played the Vikings earlier this year, I watched the Vikings and their line dominates Houston up front. So yeah, Derrick Henry, it's going to be a long day here. But watching the Vikings and the way they controlled Houston up front, I knew that the rest of the year, in terms of like fantasy, you attack Houston every single week. And that's been basically a good strategy the entire year. David Montgomery had an 80-yard touchdown against this team not that long ago. Every team can run on Houston, but you can also throw on them. Let's see if we get a red zone stand here. 3rd and 8 for Ryan Tannehill. He fires, and that gets broken up for Corey Davis. So at least we do get a stop here. All right, let's see what this offense can do now. I'm excited to build a team that has an established quarterback in Deshaun Watson. Ooh, Duke Johnson with the stiff arm. Obviously, we're going to have some big playability with this team right away. You have Watson, Brandon Cooks, perhaps Fuller. So we're going to have to find someone to run the underneath routes, like DeAndre Hopkins used to do. So I don't know how many of these playmakers I really want to build around. I do like Duke Johnson, but I don't think he's going to change the offense. How about David Johnson? I mean, I loved him in Arizona, but he hasn't been the same in a couple of years. I'm going to be looking at the running back position for sure, but given the holes on this team, it's definitely not going to take an early priority when it comes to the draft. Hard to see me drafting a running back before like the 6th, maybe the 5th round. I believe we have 2 4th-round picks in the draft, so really hoping to come away with some good players there. That's a shot downfield, and that went out of bounds. Watson back to the air on 3rd and 7. Oh, come on. Gotta have that one, Darren Fells. Why don't we get back into another possession here with Houston? Now, I am currently on all-pro default sliders, and I've done 3 series like this in the past, and they've all been on default all-pro sliders. I just prefer how the game plays with no settings adjusted here. CPU, slow sim, just like this. However, there are some things that might need to be fixed here on Next Gen, in terms of like run blocking, maybe even some of the pass blocking. But going through my tests, I haven't come up with anything definitive that I want to do there. So give me some time with that to see how the game plays out. Hopefully we get some fun games. And hopefully there are some patches on the way that help out some of the run-pass tendencies in these live playbooks, which I am using, and clean up some of the issues in coverage. Handoff here, inside, David Johnson, getting close to a first down. 3rd and inches, that is just enough here. Duke Johnson got it. I want to see us put some points on the board here. And I won't be upset if we lose, but does anybody care if we pick like 72nd in the 3rd round compared to 69th? Like, I'm not even going to get excited for the tank here. Running this again, bouncing outside, okay. We're actually seeing a fair amount of rushing here, and I wonder if part of that has to do with the quarter length. Like when you're playing the 6-minute quarter games on default and I'm testing those out, you will see more passing because a greater percentage of the game is spent in 2-minute. Or with little time left and having to play catch-up. So the quarter length might help things out a bit naturally. Here's Watson on first down, and he's on target again inside the 20. And there's Chad Hansen. They elevated him from the practice squad, which I think they've done like twice now. He had a couple weeks where he was productive. Let's see if we cap this off here. Inside the 10, let's go. That's Darren Fells for a gain of 9. Watson began like 1 of 4, but is now getting into a nice rhythm. Let's finish this drive. Watson, pressure, forces the throwaway. And there are a lot of throwaways I've noticed on Next Gen. Also noticed a lot of roughing the passer, throwing out of sacks. So some things I'm not used to here in these rebuilds. 3rd down, wide open, Chad Hansen has a touchdown, and Houston takes the lead. We're not going to watch a huge portion of this game. It's not a very important one. It's more about just talking about the series a little bit. But we'll see what happens here with Tennessee. They are down by 8, so we might actually get an extra win here. And maybe that hurts the draft positioning for Miami in that early pick that they'll use to continue building up their roster. We might actually win this game. Tannehill to the outside. Now that is caught. That is Khalif Raymond. Oh, it's Tannehill on 3rd and 3, and he runs right into J.J. Watt. And that drive for Tennessee comes to an end. Here's Deshaun Watson back to pass, and that is also going to be broken up. Watson now 13 for 22, and now Tennessee showing pressure. They have not been a good pass rush team this year. Won't change on this play. There's a shot. He's open. Come on. No. A lot of those deep balls are just drifting out of bounds slightly. I've noticed a lot of deep balls in CPU gameplay this year. That's definitely a big change. A lot more shots downfield, sometimes too many. Okay, Tennessee driving here. I don't mind if you score. Touchdown A.J. Brown. The 2-point is good. So let's see how this 4th quarter plays out now. We're tied at 17 with 6 minutes to go in the ball game now. Deshaun Watson under center at the 13-yard line. Watson on target. Darren Fells, first down. Here's Watson from the empty set on first down, and that one is also broken up. We need to find some more players here who can just create separation and get open. I know we can do that downfield, but I want to have some players that also get open underneath. Inside now, and Johnson is met by Rashawn Evans. 3rd and 7. Here's Deshaun Watson with time. That's open. Brandon Cooks has a first down. First and 10 once again. Nice catch, Darren Fells. That's 6 catches now. Maybe we can utilize him and Jordan Akins in this passing game, but I just think that there's so much to do at pretty much every other spot. Is David Johnson the right running back? Not counting on him being the complete answer. I think he can have a role. Second and 7. That's caught. There goes Cooks, and he is gone. You got to have some big playability here. I want to keep Will Fuller as well, and that'll give us all the big playability. All right, we got some next-gen stats here. This is one of the perks on next-gen. This isn't last-gen stats, okay? What do we got? Watson on the slant. We getting, like, top speed here. I mean, he did force the bad angle there by the safety. Got up to 21.5 miles per hour with 31 yards of yak. Ryan Tannehill trying to pump up this team. They just had an ugly loss to Green Bay. You don't want to be embarrassed by Houston, do you? I'm saying A.J. Brown embarrasses us here before too long. Caught A.J. Brown. First down. 2:33 on the clock. And Tannehill throws on target for Corey Davis. That's a good gain. Maybe you can trust Derrick Henry here before the 2-minute warning on third down. Derrick Henry inside. Easy. Here's Tannehill on first down. Watt has the pressure. Tannehill on target. Nice catch. And there he is, A.J. Brown. Really spreading out the defense here. Tannehill got out of the way, but we get a little pressure inside. 8-man coverage here. Watt gets pressure, and he gets to Ryan Tannehill. 3rd and 20 now for Tennessee. It's not looking good. Tannehill, he's going to get out of the way, and it's intercepted! Houston will get the football. You'll see a lot of plays like that when you can create pressure. Those throws out of the sack that don't really get a lot of strength behind them. All right, let's go win the game, I guess. Let's go hurt Miami's first-round pick. So it takes a first down to go win the game here. 3rd down and 9 for Houston. We're going with a give to David Johnson, and he's taken down on first contact. So Tennessee will get one more chance. By the way, as Houston here, do I have the ability to choose if the roof is open or not? I know in exhibition they allow you to choose if the roof is open. I'm not sure about that in franchise, though. I don't think so. We haven't won the game quite yet. 50 seconds left. Tannehill hit again. Got it away. That's out of bounds. 3rd and 10. Tannehill actually gets a bit more time. And the catch is made. That's A.J. Brown. And he got out of bounds. After a big gain like that, usually you lose 10 seconds or so running up to the line, but not there. Now at the 47. Tannehill to the outside. That is going to get them out of bounds. The CPU has no idea how to use the sideline, but they're doing it perfectly. Tannehill on 2nd and 1. Outside. And Jonnu Smith gets out of bounds. That's 3 in a row. The AI has never done this so well. Tannehill, 34 yards to go. Underneath, this is where the trouble arrives. That's going to be a first down, but they're going to have one play left, basically. Do they take a shot to the end zone, though? It's next gen. Come on, take a shot. Tannehill! Touchdown, Corey Davis! Are you kidding me? Of course. The CPU just ran the best 40-second drill they've ever run, ever. Right there. Send that to Canton. Of course, we got some drama. We have some fun here in the very first intro episode. This was just a throwaway game, but now you get your drama. This is where Scott Hansen will be having a blast on Red Zone, and it would be a good time. Now we got 7 seconds till OT. Alright, we got one play here. This looks like it's going to be the one where everybody runs to the middle of the field, I'm pretty sure. Sure looks that way. Alright, time will expire here. Watson gets it off. It will get to the 20, up in the air, and it touches down. We got OT. Alright, who's winning this toss? Titans. I'm kind of hoping they win, just because, I don't know, draft positioning, I guess, in the third round. I know I said I couldn't get excited about tanking, but it would be, like, the best thing draft-wise to happen for the team. I am not concerned with who wins this game. I merely want to be entertained. Tennessee, you got a shot. Running it with Derrick Henry. And we all know, what does Derrick Henry do in overtime? If you go into OT against Tennessee, you gotta be just terrified. Derrick Henry's about to end the game, isn't he? Here's our shot, though. 3rd and inches. Anything can happen. Madden is weird in short yardage. So, if we make a play here, we have a shot. Henry a 3rd time. Oh, yeah. It's the Houston run defense. Never mind. Remember, a touchdown is what it takes to win. And they still just give it to Henry every time. He just ran over 3 players. 3rd down and 6. I think they finally have to throw it this time. We're playing off coverage, single high. And there's the pressure and a sack for Omenahu. So we are going to get the football. And remember, overtime here is super short, so we are definitely looking at a potential tie. How is it going to end? Everybody on the edge of their seat. Watson hasn't been sacked all day, and he is off the mark here. Here's Watson now on 2nd and 10. That's a shot downfield. He wants to end the season, and that is underthrown. Caught up to it. I think that was Desmond King. 3rd down and 10. Watson once again on target, but a flag. You know that's not going to count. Laramie Tunsil, the franchise tackle. So now it's 3rd down and 18. If we don't convert, we're punting from the end zone. Watson up top once again. Take the shot and got it! Yes, it's Brandon Cooks. 56 yards. Let's see those next-gen stats. We also have some interesting cameras on display here. Time to throw, 2.7 seconds. And now completed air distance, air yards, 62. Why are they in such a hurry to move on from scene to scene there? Let it breathe a little bit. Let's slow it down. We don't need to be in a hurry here. 1st and 10. Deshaun Watson checks it down, and that is a short gain. See, we can just slow it down. We don't have to just bounce around. Watson here for the win. Overthrown for Cooks. From the 34-yard line, Watson gets it away to the end zone, drawing the penalty. Malcolm Butler, thank you for setting us up. Will the Titans miss the playoffs here if they screw this up? I'm interested in what happens in our version here of the NFL regular season. All we got to do is win the game here, and Deshaun Watson does it. Now we just got to get a better team around him, and we can do a lot more of that. Touchdown, Houston. That is how this will end. It'll be a 5-11 season for the Texans. We got next-gen stats, but last-gen end-of-game sequence still. I haven't seen that play sheet be thrown for like 5 years, I feel. I want to see some new scenes here. Although this is a little bit different. I also want to see this every time. Players meeting in the middle. I don't want to see the weird screenshot slideshow on PowerPoint. I want to see, like, something next-gen. I think this play here sums up Deshaun Watson's time. Always in, like, a comeback effort late in the game. Always getting hits and still making the throws, getting all the touchdowns. We're going to protect Deshaun Watson and get a better team here. Alright, let's sim to the playoffs now, and we'll see exactly who makes it here in our series. The simming is nice and quick there. So the playoff brackets. Looks like Tennessee is in, Cleveland is in, Baltimore, and Miami. That means that Indianapolis didn't make it. And now the Bears and the Cardinals make it. That means the Rams are out, and the Giants, they somehow win the NFC East. And here is how the playoffs have unfolded. I do like this menu here, and it can get you to every game by clicking on them. So Cleveland wins a playoff game. That would be incredible. And then they lose to Kansas City. Steelers over Miami. Baltimore way over Tennessee. And then defeating Pittsburgh, making it to the AFC title game. The Chiefs advance in a close win. Meanwhile, Packers defeat Arizona. The Bears shock New Orleans. They have that stretch of 30-plus point games now, so they continue it here. Giants upset Tom Brady again. That would be unbelievable. Then the Packers just absolutely annihilate them, and the Seahawks beat the Bears. Seattle over Green Bay to set up a Seahawks-Chiefs Super Bowl that we will sim. Now let's do it next episode. But what I wanted to do here was at least show you what I have found so far in terms of the scouting, and I'll obviously be doing more in the off season. I forgot to scout for like 6 weeks of the simulating I was doing in games, so I don't have like as many players scouted as I should, but oh well, I'll be fine. I don't have to scout anybody in like the top 65. We definitely have a chance to add some first round talent. There are some wide receiver options. How about George Wagner from Oregon with the catch in traffic, and the spec catch? He is a deep threat. I would like a different archetype receiver if we have both Fuller and Cooks. Aaron Washington is physical with great spec catch, catching, and release. But if I want to find somebody who has some really good route running, I'm probably going to have to keep scouting to see if I can find that player. But there just aren't like any route running archetype receivers. Did they take that out of the game or something? Like, I'm having a hard time finding it. Is it just slot now? Anyway, let's go to the offensive line now, and there usually are some good values here if things are similar to how scouting has been in the last like 4 years. I have not gotten used to the higher letter grades here, so to see like A-, B+, B- lead to a 6th round talent, still not quite used to that. We might be able to find somebody here who can start, and we don't have great offensive linemen to begin with, so expect us to be asking a lot of our rookie class. This hold X to reorder never got fixed? You're kidding me. Alright, let's go to defensive tackle. This is where I think like the best moves can be made. We have some first and second round options. We have 4 first round options, okay? You want a run stopper. We have 4 choices. I think we'll probably want to look at that after the Texans did not retain DJ Reader in the last offseason. So we can obviously look there or draft a pass rusher here like Marcus Frost. If we go to defensive back, I have done some scouting here at corner, and there are some first round options. And now these letter grades are super low for first round talent. Let me know, though, what you think the most important positions to address are. Besides, like, all of them, if you can rank them, try to give me a top 3. As I look at the roster right now, I mean, multiple linemen, maybe 3 new starters next season. We'll see about Titus Howard. He does have star dev. He is young, so I might prioritize the interior first. For defense, D-line. We've got to get some more players here. There is Ross Blacklock, who is somebody we should, look at developing and giving a lot of playing time to. We'll have J.J. Watt, but we should probably add somebody else. Corner is going to be a key need. I'd put that in the top 3. I'd say interior lineman, just in general, is in the top 3. I'd say a corner also makes it in there, but safety's a need. Edge rusher is a need. Receiver is a need. Running back is a need. It's just too hard. So we're going to start piecing this together next episode. I hope you enjoyed this first video. I know not everybody's even expecting this series to show up today, but I wanted to get it up. I wanted to get working on this again. So welcome everybody to the Houston Texans rebuild franchise on Next Gen. Hopefully we have a lot of fun here. I've enjoyed these rebuilds now for a few years, and I'm looking forward to another new challenge. Please leave a like and subscribe to the channel and leave your feedback down below. Looking forward to what you have to say about this video. I'll see you all next time. Have a great day, everybody.